We are talking to Tan Sri Francis Yeoh, the CEO of the YTL Group of Companies. Up next, the importance of the Yes 4G platform to the YTL Group of Companies.
Bigotry-free Malaysia. BFM 89.9.
This morning, we speak to Tan Sri Francis Yeoh, the CEO of the YTL Group of Companies. Tan Sri, we've talked about how 2.5 billion ringgit of spend in terms of developing the 4G platform, 1/6 of the US budget in doing so. Our question to you is this: how important is this new business to the YTL Group?
Very. Because this, you may be aware or not aware that I was very involved amongst others, Kenichi Omai, Nordin Sopi, and many others. In Mahathir's era, he could agree to not censor the internet, and an MNC corridor was born. A culture in Asia is a beacon not to censor internet. Now, you think of North Korea, there are only 2 channels, on and off. On is Long Live Kim Jong-il, or off. Asia is not really liking the freedom of the internet. Whereas Malaysia, we have signed a bill of guarantee not to censor internet. We've moved on from there, if you remember, to spend 100 million, the first company listed on Nasdaq, to foster internet-based companies. And what happened? Estiva was born, the first internet protocol phone, voice over internet protocol. We made 26 million ringgit out of a 300,000 ringgit investment. I was just trying to prove how easy it is and how fat it was for the voice market. It was so easy. It was just too rich, the voice market. And to me, I was just making a point that digital voice has come, and you should shift. And by doing that, the price war that you are talking about, we started it. Today's call, IDD calls, is now 93% cheaper because of our Estivas and 9 other companies that do the similar stuff. And the voice or mobile calls have dropped by 50%. And finally, of course, this journey of the getting a 4G network. This was the independence that we needed. A network that we could have that's not based on satellite or anything, which is based on a spectrum. And we know the incumbents will not want to invest in that. There's too much profit in the voice and the text market at 15 cents a minute. Why would somebody want to write off what they have when the market still wants to pay them billions of revenue and profits? So for me, if the government could be persuaded to give independent people like us, and we commit to spend 2.5 billion, which we do, and that's why we commit 1/6 of the US budget. And we say, give the people a chance. And when I sell 9 cents at 3 megabyte, I think people who don't get it, it is so cheap. Nobody in the world can build a 4G network nationwide, cover the whole North-South Highway and all of that within, a short period, and actually worry about things that will it work or will it not work. I think when I see the mobile phones, people leaving money on the table, 200-300 ringgit for importance, because it's so important, I think they will soon realize mobile internet is so much more important than mobile phones and SMS. When they realize that, then they will quickly switch. And for me, 9 cents per 3 megabyte it's almost like selling water at nominal price, or electricity. And that's what it is.
That's the appeal of the internet, Tan Sri. You talked about how earlier you were instrumental in formulating the MSC Bill of Guarantees and the fact that the internet would be forever free, but now there are moves by the government to try and introduce the Printing and Publications Act to cover the internet as well. Should that day ever come, and heaven forbid if it does, what's that going to do to your business model?
No, I think I'm not the instrumental. I say I'm amongst many people in the ecosystem that champion the freedom of the mobile internet. I must say the Prime Minister at the moment, after having lost 5 states, the previous government, although it's bipartisan government, I've lost 5 states. Many of our members of parliament are bloggers now, and all that, and that's good for the ecosystem. The internet brought forth a new culture in politics. You have to be very transparent. Now, did our new Prime Minister and his cabinet worry about that and start to censor? I don't think so. I think our Prime Minister is blogging and tweeting, and he's got a fan base of 500,000. I think that's very positive. He's moving forward. He's encouraging 4G network. So why would we worry about that? So do not misread too much about some of the moves. I think the government led by our present Prime Minister is quite clear in supporting the internet.
Where the group is concerned, YTL Comms and what you're doing in mobile broadband appears to be quite a different strategy to your historical strategy of pursuing stable, income-driven businesses, whether it's water or power. Was there an epiphany involved here, Tan Sri, when you went into this new business?
Again, you see, the human mind can understand what they see clearly. When I do electricity, you see a pipe, a cable going to your house, and then you understand I do electricity business. When I do water, you see a pipe going into your house, right? And you see, the water is delivered to every 3 million homes in Wessex. But when I do broadband internet, mobile internet, you don't see it, but I have a pipe next to your ear, next to you. But it's not in your house, it's everywhere. I have pipes, virtual pipe that you can just suck through my bandwidth. If you have a smartphone, just use a huddle, right? Or you can get a bus phone. There's a 4G chip built inside, or a dongle, and that's it, anywhere and everywhere. But this pipe is virtual. So it's the same utility business. That's why we charge this like an utility. Very inexpensive like utility, like water and electricity. People begin to understand why we charge it like utility and why we don't have contracts to tell you pay as you use. It is very inexpensive, but don't waste it. Like water, electricity, even though it is very reasonably priced, do not waste it.
Well, unlike with Wessex Water, where you have an entrenched marketplace there, where there's really no competition. Quite the opposite is different where YTL 4G is concerned. It appears to be quite a high risk gamble, if you like, for want of a better description.
Well, in Wessex there are 9 other companies. There are competition. In fact, we are the best water company because we ask the least tariff because of our efficiency, whereas other water companies ask a lot of tariff increases because of their inefficiency or whatever. But as far as competition is concerned, I just was asked by Star recently what was my market share of mobile internet. And I said 100%, and she thought I was audacious. But then she realized that it's true because there's nobody that covers the country that has mobile internet. When the bloggers start to go to Penang, out from their little cocoon of KL, then they suddenly realize, hey, I could not block to just 10,000 or 100,000 people in KL. I could block to the 20 million people in this nation now. My ability to have them see my blog has expanded if the mobile internet is countrywide. So I think people are beginning to understand the ecosystem is expanding. They have not got it yet. The mobile internet by nature in the city, most people are in the cities. There's a bit of mobility. iPhones are bought by people in the city. And I'm saying, hey, wake up. I have already put a 4G network in the whole country. The pipes are outside you everywhere. Just suck it in. Use it now. Don't wait. You don't have to wait the pipes to come. The pipes are you. You can't see it, but you said just try it. Just take a huddle and suddenly you're in.
Well, outside of the entire country, outside of Sabah and Sarawak, obviously, Tan Sri.
Right.
Let's stay on the profile of YTL Power, the listed company under which YTL Comms is placed. You've also got a 30% stake in a new oil shale power generation project in Jordan. Again, what appears to be quite a capital-intensive business. The question is obviously from the analysts and whether these new projects will alter the YTL Power risk profile somewhat to make it obviously more risky.
We are pretty careful. You will see through time. We're going to announce a few stuff, and we are very careful, especially working in that area. We have a lot of caveats and auditing of technologies and all that. In this case, we work with an Estonian identity. Well, in Estonia, about 80% of their electricity is fueled by shale oil. So they obviously knows this technology very well. So they are our partners going into. So of course, if we invest in anything, we will not invest unless it's successful. There's a lot of caveats. In every business that we do in utility, when we do power business, we have an agreement like those days with Siemens to do operation and maintenance and to teach us to do for 7 years and then transfer the technology to us and we will own 100%. Same as our ARL train. Everything time we undertake something, they must put behind their name. And if it doesn't work, we don't pay. we have been very careful in technologies, and because of this due diligence and technology audit, we always have less problems because we will make sure it must work first and their name is behind it. If they don't work, we don't pay them. And basically that is, the risk is mitigated in that way.
That being said, the capital-intensive nature of these businesses are said to potentially hurt the YTL Power dividend policy going forward. I mean, in the latest quarterly results, you announced half what you announced last year. So is this a valid concern?
The dividend, you mean?
Yes.
Well, the dividend is now, it's a long story, but basically I think there's a big restructuring in YTL Corp. YTL Corp has split the shares, and YTL Corp would own hopefully one day 100% of YTL Power because of the dividend is so good. So meanwhile, we do not mind them preserving some cash for themselves and reinvest, right? So in a short while, when we own more of YTL Power, maybe the dividend flow will be more again. So I think that's quite a long-term strategy. We think YTL Power can preserve their cash now and invest in something substantial. It looks like the environment in the world will provide, at last, opportunities.